We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are back with a new episode of Repeater.
I think you've made your point, Evan.
I know. I'm just excited because today we've got comedian and Sesame Street writer Geri Cole on the show, along with some music from the incredibly talented Mikki Hommel.
That's right. We do. Not only is it a great show filled with the usual good times, but Mikki improvises a song for us, and it's incredible.
That is a really good point. You know what else is really good? Rating us on iTunes and leaving us a review.
It means the world to us anytime someone gives us iTunes feedback. Like this review from Duke Stamina. Repeater is a very good show. Pat and Evan are good hosts.
Thank you, Mr. Stamina. If that doesn't convince you all to rate and review us, then nothing will. Reviews aside, thanks for listening. This is Repeater. Hi, Geri.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Also, wait. Sorry, I'm going to scoot my chair back. This feels a little bit weird.
Oh, yeah. We're all on the same level.
Yeah. Okay.
There we
Hi.
go.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
No problem. I would also like to preface this by saying it's been a very long weekend of lots of good times. And so I'm not the clearest. Do not have the clearest mind this evening. So.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's like probably pretty normal on a Sunday, right?
Not for me, not normally.
No,
This was an
usually
especially
like focused,
yes,
laser.
Yes. Normally on Sunday, first of all, I don't leave my house. I don't make plans for myself on Sunday as a general rule. Just because I need days where I don't have to speak. Right? Doesn't everyone
thank you for coming on our
don't talk to
podcast.
me? Yeah. Yeah. Even to my husband, I'm like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And so normally on Sunday, I'm just very quiet and focused. But.
Well, first of all, thank you for making a plan today. And second of all, thank you for talking a lot to people here, making this your plan, even though it defies everything you do on a Sunday.
Generally, yes.
We're just going to get started by talking about something we've been listening to lately.
Okay.
So Pat's going to kick us off.
Great.
So I've been listening to Radiohead's OK Computer.
Ooh, good one.
Throwback.
Oh, people have heard of it. Cool. Because they have a 20th anniversary edition coming out, and I'm all about those deluxe editions that make me re-spend my money. But it's been like a nice nostalgia trip for, back into, I guess like late high school, early college. I don't know. It's been like a nice comforting thing to listen to. So
Yeah, I get that.
Also, they're like included. I feel like I also listened to this, and there were songs that were previously not released with the album that they released.
So they
good ones.
just released one called I Promise.
Yep, that's what I heard.
It's really good.
It's very pretty, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not surprising, but like it's nice to get something unreleased from when that album was being worked on.
Yeah.
And have it feel like new and fresh, but also it's 20 years old. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And amazing, and I think actually speaks to the wonderful talent of Radiohead that it's like a song that made 20 years ago, and we're just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like definitely a talented bunch of people. Huh?
Yeah.
I think they're doing okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're all right.
Well, to go from, I guess, something that's like a throwback to 20 years ago, I'll do the hottest and latest trend. I've been listening to Carly Rae Jepsen's song, Cut to the Feeling, which, if anyone follows my online persona, I'm Carly Rae Jepsen's largest fan. Or biggest fan. Large sounds weird. Physically, her largest fan.
8 feet
which is
tall
both
fan.
inaccurate and strange sounding. Good single. It's a good single. It's won me over. I got texts immediately the day it dropped.
Yeah.
Although I had already listened to it like midnight the night before, obviously. And from friends asking me how I felt about it and if I liked it. And I didn't love it right away because I think a lot of like, I think I've been conditioned over the years to a lot of like pop singles to really kind of like take with a grain of salt very hard.
Yeah.
But I remember I told a couple of them, I was like, it will grow on me, I'm sure. And now,
I'm
one week later, I like it a lot.
Wow, that's how pop songs work.
Yeah, exactly.
They're engineered that way.
But it was also, it took my friend Charlie, he was like, oh no, it's amazing. The beginning is like a marching band. It's something like, the middle is this, is like a love song, and the end, it like explodes in joy. And just like him saying that I was like, I'm way more on board with this song now. Just because that sounds like a good description. Yeah. But I'm also in the middle of a campaign to try to find out when her new album's going to be released.
Wow. This is intense.
It might work.
Yeah, I think she's just going to announce it, and it's going to have nothing to do with me. If I had to guess.
I'm going to guess that.
If I had to guess. But
I believe in you.
Yeah. Thanks. That's very kind.
Yeah, because either she's going to block you on Twitter or she will be on this show.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for the latter. So
yeah. Gotta meet her one day. Or just listen to her new album when it comes out.
So wait, sorry. Do you actually enjoy Carly Rae Jepsen?
I do.
Okay.
There's a bit of like maybe this is like a real great insight to my own psyche, is like sometimes it's hard to tell the difference between irony and sincerity. Mm-hmm. But like I do like a lot of her song, like Emotion, that whole album I love. Great. Hands down. The sleeper hit of 2015, if anyone wants my take.
Okay.
Jerry's on board. And but like her first, it wasn't even her first album, but her big breakout album with Call Me Maybe. It's like there's a lot of crap on that album that's not good. And then like on her B-sides album, it's like, yeah, some of it's good, some of it's whatever. But so I don't know. I like a lot of her stuff, but I don't know that I can claim to be like I guess, yeah, I haven't seen her live and stuff. Okay. So I don't know. My fandom is I'm probably on the cusp of like really buying into it.
Okay.
But I like her a lot.
My husband actually also has this thing where like it's honestly been like 5 years he's been running this bit. It's that he really likes Coldplay. And it's like there's nothing wrong with Coldplay. He doesn't hate Coldplay.
Yeah.
But like the bit is that he really likes Coldplay.
Yeah.
But also he likes Coldplay. It's like the most like ridiculous.
Then you get this. This is exactly what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been listening to that song a lot.
Okay. Wow.
How about you, Jerry?
Let's see. I have been listening to Arcade Fire's new song that they just released called Everything Now. Mm-hmm. And with that, and I was like, oh my God, it's like so perfectly timed because I just picked this Arcade Fire song. I'm going to go do this podcast about music. And they came up with a new song and are going to have a new album.
Yeah.
And yeah, with that song, I was like, oh yeah, they're still like making songs just for me. Like, that's really how it feels. Like,
that's great.
Yeah. I'm sure that other people feel that way, but
yeah. No, it's a good song. It's a very pretty video as well.
Yeah.
If you have seen the video.
Like every time they come up with a new album, I wish that I knew how to play an instrument, one. Mm-hmm. And then also, if I could be in a band, I want to be in that band. Right. Like, I don't want my own band. I want to be in that band.
They do seem super cool.
Yeah.
What would you play in Arcade Fire?
I myself wish that I knew how to play drums. Mm-hmm. However, I think it would be really cute if I knew how to play the accordion. Ooh. Because I feel like that's like so sexy. Yeah. Even though it's like for old European men, but like that's a part of what makes it so sexy.
Weird Al would disagree.
So yeah, either the accordion or the drums.
That's cool. I think they would have somebody that plays the accordion.
I think they do. I think
cool.
his wife, whose name I can't think, but she is French. I think she plays the accordion.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
But so this is a great intro into what song did you choose for us to talk about?
Yes, I chose My Body is a Cage by Arcade Fire. What album is it off of? Neon Bible?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm real bad with names of things.
No, that's great.
Okay.
Let's listen to a clip of it now. I think we got it. Ooh, yeah.
See, that's that part right there actually is the whole reason why.
Yeah, I was gonna play the beginning of the song where there's more lyrics and stuff, but that you were like, no, this part of the song.
Well, you kind of have to. I mean, if you haven't heard the whole song, you should start from the beginning.
Yes, do not start the song halfway through like you do most of your songs.
Guys, start it from the beginning. But also because it's like such a... God, like, what is the word? It's like, you know, when the sky is super heavy and it like really needs to rain.
Yeah.
It feels like that.
Yes.
The like first half of the song, and then when that bit that we just played happens, I refer to it as the moment that the song shanks you.
Yeah.
Because it's like so... It's almost painful. That moment of you're like, oh God, that hurt. That hurt. It's like so... I don't even know. I mean, I'm sure there's like a musical term for it. Of like when you like it goes silent and then you bring the big chorus.
Yeah. There's definitely music things for that.
Yeah.
I think we're good with the clip. But yeah, no, that part of the song is awesome because it is. It's like there's a real swell and like a build to like that part of the song.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's also it's the last song on that album too, and I feel like it seems like a really cool last song.
Yeah.
Because it's very dramatic.
It is super dramatic, and also I mean, again love Arcade Fire, and I feel like it's that moment where like after listening to the whole album, you just want to like close your eyes and drift off into the ocean. Like, well, that was it. I'm done. It's really.
I really like it when songs do that thing, but when that thing of like. It just feels like there's so much music that still needs to come out of the album.
Yeah.
And it's all sort of pushed into that last song.
Yeah.
And even in that specific part where like he just stops singing and like the organs sort of take it over. And because you're right, it's kind of like a storm. It's kind of like a thunderstorm that comes through and it's loud and it's ravaging. And then all of a sudden it's done and it's quiet. And it smells kind of nice because rain's great.
Yeah. But it does feel like if there was anything else that needed to get out, it's getting out now in this moment and during this album, and then you can like drift off to sleep or something.
Yeah. So why choose this song? Basically, are you a huge Arcade Fire fan?
I mean, apparently, I'm again, like I said earlier, I'm really bad at like knowing the name to things, and so I will constantly be like, oh, you know, it's that song that goes like this, and it's the one that I like, and you have to just sort of understand how to like, speak Geri, I think, in order to be like, yeah, we got it. It's Beat It, you know, like by Michael Jackson. Like,
what's the chorus?
It's
of this
song, you know.
I don't know.
It's real annoying, actually, if you're my friend. And so every time they come up with a new album, I am like surprised again, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I love it. Oh, sorry, am I supposed to?
No, go for it.
Swear.
I love this band. Like, I really feel like, and it could be because I feel like I'm close in age to the songwriters, and so I feel like the things that they are writing about apply to what I'm currently going through, sort of emotionally and psychologically in life, and so it just feels like, thank you. When like I need this.
Yeah.
Comes out. Yeah.
Is there anything about this song in particular that like did that for you at the time it came out, maybe, or even now? I was trying to like read into the song myself, you know.
Oh yeah.
But curious to hear your thoughts.
It's pretty heavy, I think.
Yeah.
And I think definitely feels like it is something that is my experience, that like, God, I just like that lyric of my body as a cage is like, yep, I know that feeling. I really wish I could just, not die, but like, you know, like,
sure. Yeah.
Like, I get it. I need my body to get around, but like the idea that like there's so much more inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's just real frustrating sometimes to feel like I have to just keep, I guess, moving this way because this is how it works. You know, like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, and you said the song is heavy, and I agree. And like it goes back to that, just like the lyrics going away and just sort of surpassing into the loud organs and whatever. And sometimes like that's what I like about intense music or just loud music, and not even like, you know, metal or whatever, but like just music that crescendos to that point. Because it feels like something you can sort of like let go in and get lost in and sort of float freely. And so it's really nice.
Yeah. And I haven't listened to all of the shows, but I listened to some. So I don't know if you've talked about this before. But I love music. Obviously, who doesn't love music? You got to be a real weirdo, I think, to not love music.
They're out there.
Yeah, I'm sure. But
they're weird.
Show of hands.
Yeah, who doesn't love
Why
music?
are you at the show?
But like, there's something, fucking magic about it, where it's like, there's no reason why we need this. There's no reason why we need it, and yet we need it, and we don't know why. And so it's just like, it's great.
Yeah, that's such like an art thing.
Yeah.
Right. I wonder if one day we'll discover that
why we need
like humans have this weird dependency on art. That sounds super hopeful. Like it probably won't
Funding,
happen.
please.
Well, that sounds
but
like the start of a story.
Yeah,
like
Jesus,
a premise of a movie.
I know, right? What if humans need art? Find a bunch of artists wrote this movie. Funded by artists. I think it would be that kind of thing, unfortunately. Look how important it is.
We swear.
Yeah. But there is something, I don't know if... I wonder if... this is just like my own kind of like internal thought process, but like one thing I think music is always, especially music, because it's lyrical, or a lot of it is, popular music at least, it's like a lot of what it does for me is like it's expression in a way that like you're like, oh man, I can't do that in real life.
No. Yeah.
Like they're saying the things that I wish I could like scream from a roof or say to a person next to me at a cafe, like, or a loved one or whoever it is, but because life's scary most of the time, or you'll be judged or things are weird, it's just nicer to go to a concert and like scream that word that somebody else wrote, or like just be listening to it, on your own. That's a very overarching thing of, I guess, what music does for people.
It's poetry.
Yeah.
Which I feel like the great thing about poetry, or at least for me and how I interpret it, I don't know if this is accurate, but where it's like those feelings that, like feelings are so complicated, and like there are some that are like a mishmash of 1,000 things, and it's someone figured out how to express very accurately that mishmash of 1,000 feelings, and so it just feels so good to hear it or see it or say it. Yeah, art guys, art's next.
And it's also great to like hear it coming from someone else, like especially if you're feeling alone in something. You're like, oh, okay, at least one other person gets this.
Yeah, there's a rock band from Montreal that understands me.
Completely understands me completely.
Sometimes I do think about that though, where I'm thinking about like, oh, who is this artist? How do I relate to them? And then I'm like, I shouldn't. Like I'm like, well, this isn't me.
Yeah.
Like I've had a strong connection with a couple of Rihanna songs lately, and I'm just like, there's no reason she's not writing for me. Like, I know for sure,
I was gonna say actually, Carly Rae Jepsen feels more like a just doing a little background check of
yeah. Carly Rae and I maybe have more in common.
Okay, that's fair.
The first time I came across Arcade Fire, they were playing a song in a freight elevator.
Oh, yeah. I saw that video.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, okay, this is for me. Can't explain it past that, but I was like, I like this a lot.
Yeah. When did I first come across Arcade Fire? I think, when did they come out? Like 2008, maybe? Something like that?
They had like an EP out, I think, in 2004, and then maybe their first album came out in like 2007 or something like that.
Okay. So actually maybe
earlier, 2005 even.
That maybe one of the reasons why I love Arcade Fire so much and I didn't realize is that's exactly when I moved to New York. And I feel like also when I discovered them, I don't remember how, but I do remember those like first 2 years in Brooklyn, which would have been like 2005, 2006, 2007. Were great. I mean, they were shitty, obviously, because when you move to New York, it's shitty. And maybe actually it's always shitty, depending on but yeah, those first 2 years, like the first summer I lived in New York was great.
Yeah.
Where were you coming from?
I was living abroad. I had lived in Barcelona for a year before that.
Nice.
And so actually one of the things that I felt very fortunate of is after living in Barcelona for a year, moving to New York felt easy, which is not easy. But because like that had been such a crazy struggle, and in the best way, but had been such a crazy struggle, I was like, oh, I can fucking speak the language and work legally. Great. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So it was really.
Sorry to interrupt, but what got you to Barcelona? I like Barcelona so much.
Oh yeah, it's the best. I would still be living there if I didn't love my family, but I do.
So sorry for you.
Yeah, so I'm here. I think a magazine, like saw a picture of Barcelona and I was like, that pretty, me go. And I was like just young and dumb enough to be like, I'm gonna go and it's gonna be fine. And it, was fine.
Yeah.
I'm still alive.
That's good.
Yeah. It was good. It was really good. And actually also the other catalyst was I moved in 2004 after George Bush was reelected. George W. Sorry. And because everyone kept saying, I'm leaving. And I was like, no, I'm really fucking leaving.
Yeah, you're like smart and have plans.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'm leaving. Who knew we'd be looking back on those days with fond eyes?
Yeah. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Any day of the week. George W., come on back.
I'll take it. So that was the other, I think I want to be European. I'm going to just go. Yeah. So that's what got me there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would think that time moving to New York and getting into Arcade Fire, that's got to be one of the, is that the golden age of indie rock almost?
Ooh.
In New York or?
I mean, just kind of in general, but New York, it feels like New York would be a good place to be into that. Brooklyn in New York during that time, because I was listening to their EP and then I just chronologically listened to their albums this week at one point, and you can hear their first EP is very. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what indie rock was in 2005 or something.
What did you?
Indie rock. I think I stumbled on that, but it's it felt more similar to a lot of stuff I remember from those years.
Yeah.
But then as they go on, especially something that, as we've kind of already talked about, but it's something Arcade Fire does is they really add a lot of flourish to their music. They play with dynamics a lot. They really round things out with different instrumentation and voices and all that type of stuff in a way that I think a lot of their contemporaries maybe never got there or never dealt with in whatever way. But it felt over the course of a few albums, I was like, oh yeah, that was indie rock through those years. As if they were they started in the middle of the pack and then started to lead the way almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always also what I really love about all their songs is that I feel like there's always there's a jam in there. There's or a groove rather, which is surprised to find a groove in the middle of the song. But yeah, I don't know. I feel I do not have the technical knowledge to speak on the history of indie rock.
Yeah.
Neither do we.
Yeah. But I feel it was late 90s, early 2000s, right? Where there was a huge sweep with all those bands, boys in tight jeans and long hair, and it was cool. And I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
And then they sort of turned it into something else. Yeah.
What was living in Brooklyn around that time when you first moved here?
Oh,
first couple of years, fun, hard. But what was it like?
It was super fun. So yeah, I moved to New York because I was living in Barcelona and I was very poor, very poor, not I'm poor, really poor. And it's fine because Barcelona is actually a great city to be poor in, because it's gorgeous and everything's cheap.
Cool.
But I realized that I would never see my family again if I would never see them because I would never be able to afford a plane ticket home. So I like got like one last job and like saved up my money, came home. And also at that time, my actual oldest friend, I've known him since kindergarten, Rahul, had a friend who was also moving to Brooklyn from Harlem. So she was already in New York, and he was at the exact same time that I was moving back to the States. And he was like, just fucking move to New York already. Like, what are you doing? And you're like, we're going to move to New York. And I was like, am I? And he's like, yes, you are. And I was like, okay, I'm moving to New York then. And so I moved in with her, Claire, and she was brilliant. And so that was like, we started a bike gang.
Hello.
It was really great. Shout out to the red team. That was our bike name. We had stickers. We had gear. It was serious. And so, yeah, I worked at a coffee shop. Like, literally, I packed a duffel bag, like, got back to my parents' house. I was there for, like, a couple weeks. And then packed a duffel bag, took a bus up to New York, dropped off my duffel bag, walked out of the new apartment. Like, met my roommate, Claire, was like, oh, okay, hi, this is going to be cool. Walked down the street into a coffee shop and was like, I need a job. And they were like, okay. And I live in New York now. I'm done. Yeah, which is like, I realized like the easiest, honestly. I had a very fortunate transition.
I want you to like write a book about how to make it in New York. Like, take a bus, pack a duffel bag, get up there, walk down the street. You're good.
All set.
Yeah. So that like first, I was like working in a coffee shop down the street. And I had like this little circle of friends. We were a bike gang and it was super fun. And I was like 26 or 7 or something at the time. And so I was just hanging out a lot and drinking and having a good time. It was really, really great.
Why would a friend of yours kind of tell you like, you're going to move to New York, so just do it already?
Because he had already moved to New York.
He was just selfish.
Yeah. He had moved a few years earlier and was like, aren't you going to move to New York? And I was like, I don't know. I think I'm going to move to Barcelona. And he was like, okay. And then, so yeah, when it was like, I'm moving back to the States, he's like, right, because you're moving to New York. Like, we were going to, there was like I had a small group of friends, actually just 2, not even a group, 2 friends that had moved to New York. A few years prior, and they were just like, why aren't you moving to New York with us? Like, that's what we're all doing. And it was like, I don't know. And so, it felt like the time. And to be totally honest, I didn't want to move to New York because, like, I'd been to visit and it was like loud. And, I'm a sensitive person. And so it's just, the humanity that you are faced with on a regular basis living in New York is not for beginners. And so I was just sort of like, I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I want that to be my everyday. But now I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't think I could live anywhere else.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, why? What is it you love about it?
I love that it challenges my humanity every day. That it really is like, okay, like, you can't really turn off.
Yeah.
In New York, which is hard, but also great. I think that's why, the stereotype of New Yorkers of being like really fucking sharp because you have to be.
Yeah. Sure.
And it's I like that.
Yeah. You have to be pretty constantly engaged here.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're from New York, who knows? Maybe people who are from New York are like, no, you don't.
Yep, I can see that too. So when did you? So you're a writer now,
yes,
and a performer,
yes.
When did that type of stuff start? If you came to New York more or less on,
I guess I'm moving to New York.
I guess I'm moving to New York.
I was like, I have anything else to do.
Now you got a cool New York life.
True, yeah.
Writer and performer, and that's pretty like rad New York stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened either.
Did you just walk in and ask for it?
Like, hey, I want to be a writer performer. New York.
Okay,
next.
Here you go.
How did it happen? So I did go to college for film and television production. And I always knew, I think that I was a writer. And so, in that very naive and pretentious way, I was like, I have to live before I can write anything. And so I was just sort of like wandering around for a long time and then also moving to Barcelona. And then, so when I moved to New York and I got the job at the coffee shop and I was hanging out for a couple of years, and then I was like 28 and I was like, all right, you need to get your shit together. Like, what are you doing? And so just started trying to find any production job that I could get. And so I interned at like documentaries, and then I started interning at this smaller production company called Pick Roll Pie out of Long Island City. They're really great guys. And they were really great guys, actually. They were well nicer to me than they needed to be. And like gave me a lot of like training and experience that I probably wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. And so then that was sort of just like, a little bit more. And then through them, a woman that I know or met working with them got me the job or the interview at Sesame. So now I work at Sesame Street.
Cool.
And so I got there, and I was the assistant to the executive producer. And then just kept hanging out and being like, aren't I charming? Aren't I? Don't you want to give me more work, professional? Don't you want to? Yeah. And so then essentially, I've been there 8 years now. So
That's great.
So hard work and talent, right?
I guess, and luck. Yeah.
It's very cool. I recently you wrote a Christmas special.
I did.
This past year, right?
Yeah.
I watched it last weekend.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's great, guys. Go watch it.
Oh, thanks.
And I didn't grow up watching Sesame Street, so like it's a little, like for me watching them, I'm like, oh, the characters I know and love.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're all familiar, or many of us are familiar with them, but yeah, it was cool. Like,
thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I'm not gonna lie, a painful process.
Sure.
But it feels real good now to like, it's done. It's done. I did a thing and it's done. It's so
that's
satisfying.
awesome.
Yeah.
What this may be like in a more general sense, but it's like it's to me it's got to be very interesting to write for characters that have existed for so long.
Yeah.
And for an audience such as children.
Yeah.
So like there's a lot of stuff that like a lot of pieces that you don't have control over, and then you write within that. Sounds like real work.
Yeah, it is. It can be tricky, but parameters are always good. I think whenever you're trying to be creative, or it can be really helpful. And because it's like once you sort of understand, it's like math. I always think writing is like math, where it's like if you understand what the end of or the answer that you want, if the answer is 4, then you know that you have to there either has to be 2 plus 2, or there's to be 1 plus 3, or 0 plus 4. Like you sort of like what you have to do to get to the 4.
Right.
So yeah, it's tricky, and especially also writing for a preschool audience is very tricky because I'm like jokes, and they're like, they don't fucking care about these jokes. You're gonna lose them because they're babies and they're not gonna understand.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of times I'm like, okay, fine, we'll cut that like bizarre reference that nobody was gonna get except for me. So it can be tough sometimes.
Do you feel like well, first of all, did you watch Sesame Street growing up?
I didn't.
Neither did I. It's okay.
Okay. I feel like I'm not supposed to admit that.
But do you feel like in any of your time there, it's like, do you feel like you get to write some of the stuff that like you would have liked to see as a kid?
Yes. I feel like the shows that I've written, I've tried to sort of like sneak female empowerment messages in there, and like, I mean, not even sneak. Actually, I'm sorry. Like, to be fair, a lot of our curriculum, especially in the last few years, has been like kindness and cultural competency, and like we're trying to get those messages in. So yeah, I think it would have been helpful for me to see as a child. In theory, that's also assuming that's like, it's so well written and entertaining, and I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have just walked away immediately when you saw like something not shiny on TV.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like I watched a lot of Hanna-Barbera as a kid.
Oh, okay.
And so
yeah,
that was there's a lot of Flintstones, a lot of Jetsons.
Yeah. That was good stuff.
Yeah.
What else was childhood like for you?
Oh,
where are you from?
I am from Columbia, Maryland, which is a special place, and I had a very fortunate upbringing. So by that I mean Columbia, Maryland. I feel like I've given this talk so many times. Also, I'm sorry if this feels recycled.
But it's
okay. You guys
cool,
have never heard it, but
yeah.
So Columbia, Maryland is a planned community. It's one of the few in the country. I like Celebration, Florida is like another one where it's like a intentional community. I feel like I grew up in its heyday. It is in Maryland, equidistant from Baltimore and DC. So it's like a suburb, really like a commuter suburb for both. But it was designed in the 70s, specifically with the intention of being a utopia of sorts, of being economically and racially integrated. And they physically designed the city to try and foster those things. So the entire city is designed in a series of villages. This is going to sound real. Every time I explain it, also people are like, is it Jonestown? And I'm like, no, it's not Jonestown. So the city's designed in a series of villages, and each village has a village center. The village center has your elementary, middle, and high school, and a grocery store, and an interfaith center because there's no churches or synagogues. Everyone goes to the same place to worship. It's real cool. It's real inclusive. Or rather, you can have your own church, but you can't have religious iconography because that feels sort of too intense and not on board with the thing. There's a lot of paths connecting each village. So as a kid, I have two older sisters, and we would leave the house at the beginning of the day and just wander through the city for the entire day and come home at night. And it was fine. We never locked our door as a family. It was I feel like an ideal upbringing of just, because also the other thing was even though it was a relatively big city, but you felt like you knew your community. And so people would just look at us and be like, oh, those are the Cole girls. And those are the Cole girls. It's fine. If anything, nothing's going to go wrong, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
So it was really, I was outside for the majority of my childhood.
Nice.
Playing hard.
That sounds almost like the ideal background to grow up and then write on Sesame. You just grew up on Sesame Street, right?
Shit, I actually hadn't thought of that. You're right.
There were Muppets everywhere.
Yeah, but it was very, it was very racially and economically integrated. There would be $1 million homes next to subsidized housing, and all of those kids went to the same school. My first 5 best friends were all biracial, and that was completely normal to me.
Yeah.
And so it was just sort of always this is how, of course it's how it is. And I remember actually getting a talk in high school because there's, you grow up and the world gets in.
Yeah.
And so they're having a talk with a teacher who was the rest of the world is not like Colombia. And you need to start to get ready for that. Yeah. And it was what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I actually have a piece that I perform about it. It's and it's sort of titled I didn't know I was black until I was 14.
Oh, yeah.
Was not sure. And then it was oh, it's a thing? Okay, I get okay.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds so fascinating from an outsider's point of view. It also sounds like a really cool and great place to grow up.
It was great.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It feels why don't we have more?
I don't know. I mean, it seems successful. I mean, it feels a little bit more like every other town. I mean, there's big box stores and lots of chain malls and stuff like that.
Right.
So
if you had to I mean, it sounds like Sesame's probably already very much doing it, but if you had to pull maybe some lessons from your own childhood into what you'd want kids everywhere at this point, to know, what do you feel like were some of the really most important things?
Actually, I feel like every time we have a curriculum seminar at Sesame, I call my parents and I'm thank you. Because whatever they're bringing up at the curriculum seminar, I'm this is exactly how I was raised. I'm was so ahead of the game and did it now. I think it's just the golden rule of treat other people how you want to be treated. That and pay attention to what's going on around you. Those are literally the two things I can hear. My mom would be treat other people how you want to be treated. And my father was pay attention to what's going on around you. And those two things I feel are pretty general and, crucial.
Yeah. And I would say probably very easy to lose sight of.
Yes.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
But key. Yeah. If you can do that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. It was, I feel very fortunate.
Great. Geri, thanks so much for talking to
us.
Oh,
no problem.
I think that's it for the interview portion of our show. Give it up for Geri Cole, everybody. Now, if you want to hear Mikki's cover of My Body is a Cage by Arcade Fire, head on over to repeater.show where it's available to stream.
And whether you just did that or you're going to do it later, we really hope you enjoy it. Here's Mikki with a couple of original songs.
Guys, how you doing? Sweet. Do I have time for another song, Evan? Oh my freaking yes. So I know Evan from Magnet Theater because I like to do the improv. So I thought, let's make up a song. You guys down? So just throw out some words and I'll make a song about it. Ready, set, go. Perfect. Green Days? Astoria. What'd you say? Rainy Days. Oh. He's like Green Days. I was like, that's a new band. I'm just thinking we should probably put Carly Rae Jepsen just for Evan. Some Sesame Street. Okay. Anything else? I just added into my own song. Okay, so we got Rainy Days, we got Motorcycle, we got Astoria, we got Carly Rae Jepsen, and Sesame Street. Perfect. This is going to be beautiful. Ooh, I really, really, really like you. You might not know by looking at my face, but I really am your largest fan today. Large in size, oh, large in heart. Bitch, I follow you everywhere. Because I love Carly Rae Jepsen. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. I'll call you forever, not maybe. Love Carly Rae Jepsen. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. Yeah, I'll call you every day. I'm not gonna say maybe, oh, no, 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 no. What a perfect world it'd be. It'd be just like Sesame Street if Carly Rae would just show up in Astoria tonight. She'd be like, oh my God, I heard about this show. That Mikki girl, yeah, she's gotta go. I'll sing your songs and everyone be like, oh my God, yes, because I love Carly Rae Jepsen, yeah, Carly Rae Jepsen, yeah, Carly Rae Jepsen. I'll call you tonight, not tomorrow. Carly Rae Jepsen, oh Carly Rae Jepsen. I'll call you, not maybe, I'll call you right now. What's your digits? Oh, whoa, whoa, yeah. Say oh, oh, right now. I'll buy you a motorcycle if you want it. Actually, you could buy me one because you're rich. But I'll take lessons and I'll drive it. If it's a rainy day, I'll hold you tight. I'll tell you everything's gonna be alright. Cause guess what? I'm your largest fan here tonight. Cause I love you, Carly Rae Jepsen. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. Like I really, 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 really like you. That's her song. Everyone knows. It's not done! I love Carly Rae Jepsen. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. I won't call you baby. I'll call you most definitely right now. End. Woo! Take that, Carly Rae Jepsen. That was beautiful. This is a song I wrote. It's called On the Moon. It's not. You could say it like that. On the Moon. But I wrote it when you just want to give up on shit. And you're like, no. That's what I wrote. It's also the name of my album that's out right now. If you want to get it, I'm super cool. And I forgot to bring you free download cards. singing. Singing.
You can keep up with Geri Cole on Twitter at The Alternicate and on Instagram at Geri Cole.
Mikki Hommel can be found online at MikkiHommel.com and on Twitter and Instagram at Mikki Hommel. So easy.
Well, that was a delight. We got to talk about indie rock, The Perfect Town, and even Carly Rae Jepsen.
Which was great, because my earliest memory of Carly Rae Jepsen was the same day I gave Evan a really cool high five. And that song Mikki made up about her was really fun, cool, and hilarious.
Ugh. Tell us when your new album is coming out, Carly Rae.
Evan, put on your Carly Rae Jepsen merch.
Repeater is hosted by Evan Ford Barden and Patrick Cartelli at QED in Astoria, Queens, a place to show and tell. Find out more at QEDAstoria.com. Our show is supported in part by Hi-Fi Records and Cafe in Astoria. Visit them from wherever you are at hi-fi-records.com. Editing by Stephen Garvey. Theme music by the Sun Lions. Everything else by Love Nest Productions. Welcome to Repeater.